Hey, 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 welcome back, you guys. I am so glad you're here today. For those of you who are new, hi, I'm Alice, and this is your space for real, honest, no fluff tarot readings. Today's reading is incredibly special because the cards are lighting up your powerful, almost magical energy, that brilliant spark you carry that inspires those around you. In the next few days, you're stepping into a surge of fresh energy, a real breakthrough that's going to help you release those old blocks. Plus, there's a wonderful wish coming true, one related to a man in your life, and it's going to unlock a key piece of your path forward. And please drop a comment and let me know how this lands for you. I read every single one, and it genuinely makes my day. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so first card out of the gate. And oh my goodness, y'all, we have the Magician right away. And I need you to really sit with this for a second because this is not a small card. This is not a, oh, that's nice kind of card. This is one of the most powerful cards in the entire Rider-Waite deck, and it landed here for a reason. The Magician is the card of pure, raw, almost otherworldly ability. This is someone who has everything they need, every single tool, already laid out in front of them. The wand, the cup, the sword, the pentacle. All four elements, all four suits, and one hand pointing up to the sky, one hand pointing down to the earth, that classic, as above, so below energy. This person is a channel, a conduit between the spiritual and the physical world, and that is you, that is your energy. Let me give you an analogy, because I think this really lands. You know how some people walk into a room and nothing really shifts? And then other people walk in and the whole atmosphere changes, like someone just turned up the voltage? That's the Magician energy. That's you. You don't even have to try. You don't have to perform or put on a show. You just show up and things move. Energy shifts. People notice. Because here's what this card is really saying, guys, and I want you to hear this clearly. You have a gift. A genuine, real, not everyone gets this kind of gift. The ability to take an idea, a dream, a vision, and actually pull it into reality. To manifest. That word gets thrown around a lot these days, but the Magician is where that word actually lives. This is the original manifestor of the tarot. Now, right alongside the Magician, we have the Nine of Cups. And oh, this is such a beautiful pairing. The Nine of Cups is sometimes called the wish card. It's that warm, generous, deeply contented energy. And in the context of your personal energy, what it's telling us is that you carry a lightness with you, a joy. People around you feel better just being in your presence. You inspire people without even realizing you're doing it. You're the friend who makes everyone feel like things are going to be okay. That is a rare, rare quality, and the cards are absolutely confirming it. And then, okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. We have the Devil. And before anyone panics, let me be very clear. In this position, the Devil is not a warning. It is not a red flag. What it is telling us is that you have a magnetic presence, a pull, an almost irresistible energy that draws people to you, sometimes without them even understanding why. There is something about you that is deeply, deeply captivating, and that can feel like a lot to carry, honestly, because people are always gravitating toward you, always wanting a piece of that energy. So what we have here is this extraordinary combination, the raw power of the Magician, the warmth and light of the Nine of Cups, and the magnetic pull of the Devil. That is not a common spread, y'all. That is someone who is genuinely built different. And the cards are not letting that go unacknowledged today. Next card. And, oh, this one. We have the Moon reversed. Y'all, I felt this one before it even fully landed on the table. The Moon reversed is one of those cards that just cuts right through everything. In its upright position, the Moon is all about illusion, confusion, things hidden in the shadows. But reversed? It's that moment when the fog starts to lift, when things that were buried, really buried deep down, start coming to the surface, and not always in a comfortable way. What this card is telling us is that there are blocks in your energy field, and not recent ones. We're not talking about something that happened last year or even 5 years ago. The cards are pointing to something that goes all the way back to early childhood. We're talking ages 3 to 5. That window right there, Something happened in that period, maybe something that looks small from the outside, maybe something nobody even noticed, but it landed in your little nervous system and it stayed there. It rooted itself in. And here's the thing about blocks that form that early. They don't announce themselves. They don't walk up to you and say, hey, I'm the reason you're struggling. They just quietly run in the background like a program you didn't know was installed. And they shape the way you see yourself, the way you receive good things, the way you allow yourself to succeed. Now, alongside the moon reversed, we have the Five of Pentacles. And this card, look at it. Two figures out in the cold, passing by a lit window, feeling completely left out. Feeling like everyone else has warmth and abundance and belonging, and somehow it just isn't available to them. That is the energy of this block, that feeling of being on the outside looking in, that quiet, persistent whisper that says, why does it work out for everyone else but not for me? And I want to be really direct here because I think some of you need to hear this said out loud. That feeling that I'm somehow a loser, I'm somehow behind, I'm somehow not enough feeling, that is not the truth of who you are. We just spent an entire card talking about the magician energy you carry. That is your truth. But this block, this old wound has been sitting on top of that truth like a heavy stone, making it really hard for your gifts to fully flow through. Then we pull the Seven of Swords, and this is where it gets really specific because the Seven of Swords is the card of interference, of someone working against you, not openly, not to your face, but quietly, sneakily, behind the scenes. This is the evil eye, y'all. This is envy. This is someone, or maybe more than one someone, who looked at that magnificent energy of yours, that magician, that magnetic pull, and instead of celebrating you, they resented it. They couldn't handle it. And that resentment sent something your way that got tangled up in your energy field. Here's an analogy I always come back to with this card. You know how sometimes you have a really beautiful, healthy plant, and no matter how much you water it, it just won't thrive the way it should? And then you finally look closer and realize there's something wrapped around the roots, something that got in there and is quietly choking off the nutrients before they can even reach the plant. That is exactly what envy and the evil eye do to a person's energy. It doesn't destroy you, because nothing could destroy what you carry, but it wraps around your roots and makes everything harder than it needs to be. And that combination, the moon reversed, the Five of Pentacles, the Seven of Swords, is painting a very clear picture. Old childhood wounds layered with external negative interference, layered with envy from people who couldn't handle your light. All of it stacking up and creating this narrative in your head that you're somehow less than, that you're stuck, that things just don't work out for you the way they should. But here's what I need you to understand. The cards wouldn't show you the magician and then show you this if there wasn't a reason. The reason is this. You are about to see exactly where these blocks came from. And once you see it, once it's in the light, it loses its power over you. That is what the moon reversed is really promising here. The fog is lifting. The truth is coming up. And what's underneath all of that interference and all of those old wounds is still that extraordinary, powerful, magical energy that has always been yours. Next card, and oh my gosh, y'all, we have the Sun. I literally got chills when this one came out. The Sun, right here, right now, in this position, that is not an accident. That is not a coincidence. The cards are being very, very intentional right now. Because here's the thing about the Sun. It is one of the most unambiguously positive cards in the entire Rider-Waite deck. There is no shadow side to wrestle with here. There is no, well, it depends. A child riding a white horse, arms wide open, sunflowers blooming behind them, that giant radiant sun beaming down over everything. That is pure joy, pure vitality, pure everything is about to open up energy, and it is headed straight for you. What this card is telling us is that in the coming days, and I mean days, not months, not years, not someday when the timing is right, as you are going to feel a surge, a real physical, almost electric surge of energy moving through you, like someone finally flipped a switch that has been stuck in the off position for way too long. And here's the analogy that keeps coming to me with this card. You know how sometimes the power goes out, everything goes dark and quiet and still, and you kind of just sit there in that dimness. Maybe you even start getting used to it, start thinking, though, okay, maybe this is just how things are now. And then suddenly the power comes back on. Every light in the house blazes up at once. The hum of everything running again fills the room, and you realize just how quiet and dim it had actually gotten because the contrast is so stark. That is what the sun is promising you right now. That is the shift that is coming. Now, right alongside the sun, we have judgment. And this pairing, I need you to really feel this combination because it is extraordinary. Judgment is the card of awakening, of resurrection, of things that were buried being called back up to the surface. You've got that angel blowing the trumpet and the figures rising up from their coffins, arms reaching toward the sky. It is a rebirth card. You are being called forward into a completely new version of yourself card. And in the context of those blocks we just talked about, and the childhood wounds, the evil eye, the envy, all of that heavy interference that has been wrapped around your roots, judgment is saying it is time. It is time for all of that to be released, not gradually, not little by little. Released, like a pressure valve finally opening after years and years of buildup. This is not something you have to force or figure out or work really hard to make happen. That is the beauty of this combination. The sun brings the energy, and judgment does the clearing. You just have to be willing to receive it. You just have to be open to letting the old soul story go. Then we have the Wheel of Fortune, and this card right here is the confirmation that everything is about to turn. The Wheel of Fortune is literally the card of cycles changing, of fate stepping in, of that moment when the universe goes, okay, enough. It's time to spin this wheel in a different direction. Whatever has felt stuck, whatever has felt like it just keeps going in circles, whatever has made you feel like you're running on a hamster wheel going nowhere, the wheel is turning, the cycle is breaking. And I want to be really clear about something because I think this is important. This shift that is coming, it is not random luck. It is not just the universe throwing you a bone out of nowhere. It is the natural result of who you are, in that magician energy, that extraordinary power you carry, finally being freed up to do what it was always meant to do. The blocks were never stronger than you. They were just in the way. And the Wheel of Fortune, Judgment, and the sun together are saying the way is clearing right now in the next few days. So if you have been feeling heavy lately, if you have been feeling like you're pushing through mud, if you have been waking up tired and going to bed tired and wondering when things are going to shift, this is your answer. This is the card saying, now, the shift is now. And then this card comes out and I need a second. Because we have the Star. The Star. If there is one card in this entire deck that is synonymous with wishes coming true, it is this one right here. This is the card of hope fulfilled, of dreams that felt too fragile to even say out loud, finally being handed back to you, whole and real and solid. A woman kneeling by the water, pouring from two vessels, one into the water and one onto the earth, so replenishing, restoring, giving back what was taken. And above her, that bright, unwavering star leading the way. That is the Star. That is what just landed in your reading. And I want to be really specific about what the cards are saying here because this is not vague, good things are coming energy. This is pointed, this is precise. There is a wish, and you know what wish I'm talking about because it involves a man. Maybe it's someone from your past. Maybe it's someone who has recently come into your orbit. The cards are showing me one, possibly two, maybe even three male figures connected to this energy. And whatever it is you have been quietly hoping for, quietly because maybe you stopped letting yourself hope too loudly, that wish is coming true. Now, alongside the Star, we have the Ace of Cups, and this combination is almost too beautiful. The Ace of Cups is a new emotional beginning, a cup overflowing offered by an open hand from the clouds. Pure, clean, fresh emotional energy being handed directly to you. No conditions, no catches. Just here, receive this. Here's the analogy that feels right for this pairing. You know how after a really long drought, when the ground has been dry and cracked and hard for so long that you almost forget what it felt like before, and then it finally rains, and the earth just drinks it in? That first rain after a drought. That is the Ace of Cups landing right next to the Star. Something is coming in that is going to feel like relief on a level that goes all the way down to your bones. And this is the part that really got me. We have the Six of Wands, victory, recognition, that figure riding through the crowd on horseback, wreath on their head, wand held high, people cheering. This is a public win. This is a things are turning around and everyone can see it card. And in the context of this wish involving a man, what the Six of Wands is telling us is that this isn't just going to feel good privately, quietly, in your own heart. This is going to be visible. This is going to be a shift that shows up in your actual life in real, tangible ways. But here's the piece that I really want you to sit with. Remember those blocks we talked about? The childhood wounds, the interference, the envy that has been quietly choking your roots. The cards are saying that when this wish comes true, when this male energy comes through for you, and it is going to knock one of those key obstacles completely out of the way, not chip away at it, not soften it a little, remove it like it was never there. Because that is how the star works. It doesn't negotiate with darkness. It doesn't compromise with old wounds. It just shines, and the shadows have no choice but to move. So whatever you have been holding in your heart around this person or these people, whatever hope you tucked away because it felt too risky to keep it somewhere you could see it, I need you to take it back out, dust it off. Because the star, the Ace of Cups, and the Six of Wands are all pointing in the exact same direction, and that direction is yes. Next card, and okay, wow. We have the Nine of Cups. Y'all, the wish card just showed up in your reading, the actual wish card. If you know tarot at all, you know that the Nine of Cups has one nickname and one nickname only. The wish card, that satisfied figure sitting with arms crossed and 9 golden cups arranged in a perfect arc behind them, like a trophy display. That is a person who got exactly what they wanted. That is contentment that goes all the way down. That is the universe saying, yes, done, granted. And I need you to understand what it means that this card is sitting right here in this position, in this reading. This is not wishful thinking. This is not me trying to make you feel good. The Nine of Cups in this spot is a direct, unambiguous message that what you have been hoping for is on its way to you. One wish, maybe 2, maybe 3. The cards are showing me up to 3 things you have been quietly carrying in your heart, and they are moving toward fulfillment right now. Then we flip the next card and we get the Three of Wands. Oh, this is so good because the Three of Wands is all about expansion, progress. That figure standing on the cliff, looking out at the horizon, watching their ships come in. Not hoping the ships will come, watching them come. Like, there is a certainty to this card that I really want you to feel. Things are already in motion. The wheels are already turning. You just haven't been able to see it from where you're standing yet, but the ships are on their way. And specifically, the Three of Wands speaks to movement in your career, in your personal life, and sometimes very literally. It means a physical move, a relocation, a change of environment. If any of those things have been on your mind, if any of those things have been part of what you've been hoping for, this card is saying yes to all of it. Progress is coming, real, visible, measurable progress. Now, alongside these two, we have the Wheel of Fortune. And yes, this is the second time this energy has shown up in your reading, and that is not an accident. When a card or a theme repeats, the cards are underlining it. They are saying, make sure she hears this part. The cycle is turning, the luck is shifting. Whatever season of difficulty or stagnation, or why does nothing seem to move for me you have been living in, that season is ending. The wheel does not stay in one position forever. It cannot. That is the whole nature of the wheel. And right now, for you, it is turning upward. Here's the analogy I keep coming back to with this combination. You know how sometimes you're driving and you hit every single red light, one after another, and you start to wonder if the universe has personally decided to make you late. And then something shifts and suddenly you hit a green, and then another green, and then another, and before you know it, you're just sailing through, and you almost can't believe how smoothly everything is moving after all those stops. That is what the Nine of Cups, the Three of Wands, and the Wheel of Fortune are describing together. You have been sitting at red lights for a while now. The lights are changing. And I want to be really specific about the good news piece, because the cards are pointing to actual news, not just a feeling, not just a vibe shift, actual information coming to you, something you hear, something you receive, something that lands in your life in a concrete way and makes you go, oh, Oh, things really are changing. That good news is connected to everything we've been talking about in this reading. The blocks releasing, the wish involving that male energy, the surge of the sun energy coming in. It is all one connected story, and this card right here is the chapter where things start to visibly, undeniably turn around. So if you have been waiting, and I think a lot of you watching this have been waiting for a long time, the Nine of Cups wants you to know that the waiting is almost over. Okay, let's bring this home, because I want you to see the full picture of what just came through in this reading, because it is genuinely one of the most hopeful, most powerful spreads I have laid out in a long time. Here is what the cards told us today. There are blocks around you, and you real ones, old ones, some that were placed there by circumstances, and some that were placed there by other people's envy and interference. Those blocks have been sitting at your roots for a long time, quietly limiting what you've been able to grow and receive and call in. That is real, and the cards did not sugarcoat it. But here is the other thing the cards told us. You are the magician. You have always had every single tool you need. The power was never taken from you, because it was just temporarily buried under all of that interference. And in the coming days, that interference is being cleared. The sun is rising. Judgment is calling you forward. The wheel is turning in your favor. The blocks are releasing. And what is underneath them, your real power, your real magnetism, your real ability to attract and create and receive, is coming back online. A wish is being granted. Good news is on its way. Progress is moving toward you right now, even if you can't see it yet from where you're standing. Up to 3 things you have been quietly hoping for are in the process of becoming real. And I want you to really let that land. Not just hear it and scroll past it. Actually let it land. Because you have been carrying a lot. You have been patient in ways that most people would not have been. You have kept going through seasons that were genuinely hard, through silence and uncertainty and that bone-deep tiredness that comes from waiting for things to finally shift. And the cards are saying that season is ending, not someday, now. I want to speak directly to you for a moment, because this reading showed me something about you that I think you need to hear. You are someone who has not given up, even when the blocks were heavy, even when the energy felt stuck, even when hope felt like a risk you weren't sure you could afford to take anymore. You are still here. You are still open enough to sit with a reading like this, still willing to believe that things can change. That is not a small thing. That is actually a profound thing. That is the magician in you refusing to put down the tools, even when the conditions felt impossible. And the cards are honoring that. This reading is the universe honoring that. So I want you to go into the next few days with your head up, with your heart open, with your eyes watching for the good news, for the shift, for the wish that is making its way to you, not with desperation, with expectation. Calm, grounded, quiet expectation, the kind that comes from knowing. And after this reading, you know. And that, you guys, is what the cards have to say today. This reading came out so full, so layered, so genuinely beautiful. Blocks being cleared, the sun rising, wishes being granted, a wheel turning upward after a long, long time of feeling stuck. It is all here, and it is all for you. The main message of today's reading is this: you are not someone life is happening to. You are someone life is happening for. The blocks were never the end of your story. They were just a chapter. And the next chapter, the cards are calling it a very, very good one. Drop a comment and let me know how this landed for you. I genuinely love hearing from you all, and some of you are going to feel this reading in your whole chest. Some of you will connect with just certain pieces, and some of you might find something in here that surprises you. Every story is different, and the cards always find a way to reach exactly who needs to be reached. And a huge, huge thank you to everyone who watched all the way to the end. Your support, the likes, the comments, the shares, it means everything to me, and it keeps this channel going. Take care of yourselves out there. Be gentle with yourselves. And remember, you deserve the full thing, the real thing, not almost, not halfway, not someday maybe. The real, whole, beautiful thing, right there in your actual life. Sending you all so much love. See you in the next one.